Wait for it. Wait for it. So there you have it. Good morning, everyone. I'm chewing on my cough drop, so I'm still. Okay, let me chew on it to get rid of it. Cough drop is gone. Good morning, everyone. Sunday fun day. Coffee and headlines. It is Sunday. It is Sunday, and the weather is nice. And let me be a little bit more formal, just because there might be some people that are joining us for the first time. Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. This is um, this is Sunday. This is Sunday, so there's no news today. If this was Monday through Saturday, we would discuss news and headlines and tips and comments and suggestions about how to have a better life here in Puerto Vallarta. Vallarta. Bleh. As an English-speaking community, I cannot even speak today because it's Sunday. But today, there's no news, there's no nothing, and what we're going to do today is basically we are going to be silly, we are going to be goofy, we're going to be juvenile, and most importantly, we are going to continue to drive your Spanish teachers crazy by learning potty language. Yes, that's right. Today, we continue with our crusade to teach you the filthiest Spanish expressions you can actually use in public. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Paco. If you're new to the broadcast, um, just let us know that you're new to the broadcast and write the word "new" in your comments. By all means, do not take us seriously today. Today we are going to be rude and offensive. Nothing is sacred. No one is safe, and that's okay. One day a week. So very quickly, let me see who is with us. Um, I always notice that on Sundays we don't get that many people that join, but I think that is because it is only for those of us that are truly, truly enlightened. I see that Ricky is singing at a virtual choir rehearsal. That sounds like fun. I wish I was in a virtual choir rehearsal. I love it. Paul is back in Boston. I see your trip to Puerto Vallarta was short, but I sure hope you had a good time. Idaho is in the Hayden is in the house. Hayden, Idaho is in the house. Logan is here, and I'm so very glad because Logan it was vastly instrumental in coming up with the content for today's show, and today's show is of course dedicated to our friend Logan, but it is also dedicated to our friend Noi, who is in Bangkok, with whom I consulted this morning about some colorful expressions, and we'll get to those in a second. Um, Suzanne, it was wonderful to meet you. Yesterday, I was having lunch at Poblanos, and Suzanne walked by, and she's a new Puerto Vallarta resident. And I was so very, very happy that you reached out and said hello. That's what, it's like when I'm out and about, I love to talk to people and find out what is important to you. So it was great. It was awesome. Um, let's see. Bim, padim, pam, 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 pam. Carol is on Basilio Vadillo. This is wonderful. Um, Mario, oh my God, I am thinking if I had time and logistics and maybe if there was enough interest, I would love to do a Zoom just on the crown because I am just itching to talk to people about it. The other day I was conversing with our friend Mark Hartman, the wonderful piano player that joins our broadcast every now and then, and that comes and performs here in Puerto Vallarta during the season. And he says to me, I really want to talk to you about it because there's some great stuff going on there. So maybe one of these days we can have a Zoom about the crown. Diana likes the laughing parrots. I had to start with a laughing parrot because we've exposed the what the fuck parrot quite a bit, but the laughing parrot is still not getting enough traction around here at Coffee and Headlines. I say go Chiefs, whoever they are. Yay, go Chiefs. It's so nice that you're here with us, Ed. I'm not up on my basketball, football, baseball teams, but go Chiefs. Yes. Um, um, it was not my sign. That had nothing to do with me. I'm sorry. That was not me. That's Luna, my assistant. She has a mind of her own. She insists on certain ideas, and when she says certain things, I need to pay attention. But that was her doing. It was not me. I promise. Douglas is dropping bombs already. I love it. You guys are learning. First live broadcast. Welcome to Coffee and Headlines, Douglas. Feel free to use all your colorful metaphors. If you're using them incorrectly or if you're abusing them, I'll slap you kindly, and I am sure that'll be fun. Let's see. Linda has pen and paper ready for new phrases to share con mi clase de español. I love it. Your teacher says I'm a bad influence. That must make me a real bad person, and I don't care. Joe loves the crown. That makes two of us. Dean loves the crown. There you go. We're going to be a bunch of crownies around here. Linda likes the crown. I love it. And Kathleen is here. I know that you've been so busy with your new shop. And it was great because yesterday I got to meet the new owners of Chocodiva at the farmers market. And I might as well talk about that a little bit. Yesterday, as I told you, we decided to go out for a walk. So we walked to the Three Hens and a Rooster market, which is on the Isla Rio Cuale. And I took some footage there. I took some video that I'm going to be editing today and tomorrow to show you in a couple of days. And then we walked to the farmers market, the big market, which has a lot more selection, has a lot more vendors, a lot more selection of things to buy, from edibles to wearables to arts and crafts stuff, all kinds of wonderful things. And both markets, I found them extremely manageable in terms of the people density in both markets. We were asked to they took our temperature, and we were asked to have our face mask on. Of course, we were offered gel and so forth and so on. So it was great. It was great to run into a couple of people that I know that are vendors in the market, including our own Raymond, who has his bakery just down the street. And he was there at Three Hens and a Rooster. So it was really wonderful. And it'll be such a pleasure to share some sights of the markets with you because particularly for those of you who are not presently here, you will love them. Joe asks, did I feel safe at the markets? Absolutely, yes. I definitely felt safe. There was enough distance between the booths. It was not so totally crowded that I felt overwhelmed by it. So I totally recommend it. Oh, I like this phrase. ¿Qué es esa mierda? I like that one very much. What is that shit? That is very useful sometimes. Let's see, what else? I have already binged with the crown. Great. And Kathleen offers some feedback about the market. This is all good stuff. And now that we're here, let us get started with the meat and potatoes of today. Today, we are going to learn an awesome expression, and we're going to learn about its different uses. And that expression is... Well, no, let me first tell you the story on how we got to that expression. That is going to be an easier way to do this. Well, just as here at Coffee and Headlines, we're on this crusade of showing you language that your Spanish teachers are not going to show you. We have been paying attention to the crusade that Uncle Roger has been exploring as he goes through the world of YouTube, chastising anybody that doesn't know how to cook fried rice properly. And we've talked about Uncle Roger before. Just as a refresher, I'm going to show you a quick supercut of Uncle Roger in action, which I put together this morning so that I could make a point. Check it out.
2 seconds into video and I already see saucepan. Hiya, where your wok? You put spring onion as the last thing in your meal, not the first thing in the frying pan. Hiya. Uncle Roger don't even have website and Uncle Roger know you fucked up. How many things can a chef get wrong in one video? Hiya. Uncle Roger say if your rice too wet, you fucked up. But if your rice too dry, you also fucked up. At this stage, I don't know if Uncle Roger can go on. This rice looks so wet. Look at this. You can see your reflection inside.
So as you can see, poor Uncle Roger, he is having a miserable time just teaching people how to cook fried rice properly. But the thing that catches my attention in his videos is this business of going hiya. So I was curious about this expression because I think it's adorable the way he just goes hiya at everything. So I wanted, I wanted to find out just how good or bad the expression was. So I this morning earlier today, because I know it's really late in Bangkok, I FaceTimed my dear friend, our dear friend Noi, who is our cultural attaché for all things Thai cuisine and Asian cuisine related. She used to be the chef at Daiquiri Dick's many years ago, and she continues to be in touch with us. And I said to Noi this morning, so this business of going hiya, what exactly is that? And she tells me that it is a very common Chinese expression. He says my father used to use it all the time. Of course, Chef Uncle Roger is Asian, and he lives in London, and he's actually a comedian. He's really not a chef, but he does this thing of an Asian chef quite lovingly, and he's become very popular doing this. So I asked Noi, who speaks Spanish very well, so what is the Spanish equivalent of hiya, which hiya is kind of like an expression phrase. And I gave her two choices. I said to her, well, is that kind of like saying no mames, which means like, please get over it, or so forth and so on? Or is it more like saying estás pendejo, which means like it's really dumb, it's really stupid? So we had fun looking at this, and I remained curious about it. And then, of course, this whole thing started because last night, Logan and I were chatting online about this video that chef Rachael Ray, I wonder if you're familiar with her, but she's a chef or a cook. She's written cookbooks. She's on television a lot. And at some point, she had this prescription, this recipe for pozole, which is a Mexican a traditional soup or stew made from hominy with meat, which is typically either pork or chicken. And it can be seasoned and garnished with shredded lettuce or cabbage. And it has chili peppers and onion and garlic and radishes and all kinds of things. And it's just one of the most delicious traditional Mexican dishes you can enjoy. Do I have a photo of pozole? I do, but I forgot to set it up. Let me show you what pozole looks like. In case you've never seen pozole, look at that. So it is served in a nice bowl, and you add all kinds of things around it so that you can spice it to your own pleasure. And it is something that if you haven't tried here in Puerto Vallarta, you really want to try it. And there are a couple of great places where you can try it. One of them would be Senaduría Celia in Emiliano Zapata, and there are a couple of places here near Versalles in what we call Senaduría Row. And I will be talking more about pozole later on because I feel I owe it to you. But back to lovely Miss Rachael Ray. The version of the pozole that she made on television was absolutely crazy wrong and horribly adapted to an American market that it was just not right. So Logan kindly pointed me to this other video of a Mexican mother as she reacts, just as Uncle Roger was reacting to some famous chef's procedure to make fried rice. This typical Mexican mother is reacting to Rachael Ray's pozole recipe on television, and I made a super cut so that you can learn this phrase that we're going to learn today. Check it out.
No, ya ni chinga. Van a decir, Mexican pozole. No, tan pendejas. No, Alex, eso no.
A little crumbled cotija, queso fresco,
No, güey, estás pendeja.
cheese, some pickled jalapenos.
Oye, jalapeños,
cream,
crema, aguacate.
a little cilantro.
No, babosa, no.
Hiya! That was just horrible. This woman was totally mortified because her recipe was she garnished it with Fritos, for crying out loud. Who on earth would want to garnish a Mexican dish with Fritos? So the phrase that she uses is, where is she? Where is she? Here she is. Bam! "Tas pendeja." And this is what we are going to talk about today. The phrase "tas pendeja." And "tas pendeja," hold on. Sorry, my next door neighbor drives by with his car and his speakers, and I have to acknowledge. Anyhow, "tas pendeja" or "tas pendejo" is kind of like saying, "Are you fucking crazy?" You know? And it is a wonderful phrase because it can be absolutely sweet or it can be absolutely brutal depending on the circumstances and depending on how incredulous the situation is. And the more incredulous or ridiculous the situation is, the more you have to emphasize the plosiveness in the P for pendeja. So one thing is to say pendeja, and another thing is to say pendeja. And you gotta roll your head when things get really silly. Let me show you a couple of examples. Let's assume for a second that Luna came to me and she said, "Daddy, if you let me out of the house, I can go around the block and come back with all the geckos I can possibly fit in my stomach." So, being a kind mother to my daughter, I would say to her something along the lines of "Luna, tas pendeja." So there's a little bit of kindness in the delivery. If the situation becomes more absurd, like you're sitting at Daiquiri Dick's with your best friend and you're thinking you've had a couple of margaritas, and your friend says to you, "Okay, so what if we run to the beach and we leave without paying the bill?" Well, then you add a little bit more oomph to the phrase when you reply and you say, "Estás pendejo?" So but it's still kind of playful. It's still kind of playful. Now, let's assume for a second that you just came back from the airport to pick up your best friend from high school and you haven't seen her in years and years and years, and you're showing her around downtown Puerto Vallarta, and it's in the afternoon, and the sun is delicious, and your friend says to you, the sun is so good, we ought to take our blouses off and our bras off and just like expose our breasts to this wonderful sun, and let's let them bounce, and let's do this right in front of this very traditional Mexican church. So what do you say, your friend? You say, "Estás pendeja?" And that's where you really, boo. You really have to put out the P, the effort in the P, because it's a totally preposterous idea. Seriously, folks, don't be thinking about like bouncing your boobies in front of the Church of Guadalupe, because this is not going to be very well received. Now, again, it can also be used for hurtful, horrible situations. Let's take a look at this soap opera delivery that I put together for you. Check it out.
Estás bien pendejo. Bien pendejo.
Wasn't that delicious? And that is beautiful because she adds an extra word to the business. She says, "Tas bien pendejo." She adds the word bien, which is very, so it's not only is this situation preposterous, it's very preposterous. So that would be, like, "Estás bien pendejo." And just because I want to make sure that you enjoyed it, I'm going to play it one more time before I play the next example. Here we go, soap opera again.
Estás bien pendejo. Bien pendejo.
I mean, I wonder if she got paid more by with her face and her mouth. Now, the next example of this that I want to show you is the comedian approach, because this, again, can be really, really funny. Here is a comedian using the same expression. Bam.
Mano, tú estás pendejo, ¿qué, hijo?
That was a really short example. ¿Tú estás bien pendejo o qué? So it can also be used in a question. So let me show you what that looks like. Here it is. ¿Tú estás pendejo o qué, hijo? You are crazy or what? And in this case, the word hijo, which usually means son, is not really son. It's more like saying, you're fucking crazy or what, comma, dude. Dude. Here, hijo means dude. And of course, let us not forget the source definition of the word pendejo, which can mean, the word pendejo can either mean pubic hair, or it can also mean somebody that is absolutely stupid or horrible or dumb. I mean, it has acquired all kinds of different meanings, as it were. So this is the word, this is the expression tas pendejo. And let us also talk about this business of tas. T-A-S, let me bring it up again. Tas is actually a shortened, not official version of estás, which of course would mean estás pendejo or estás pendeja. But of course, we shorten the words, and tas, which is not very cultured, is very common. So I suppose this would be this whole business of being bien pendejo or being somewhat pendejo. I hope you have fun practicing that at home. Let me take a quick look at your comments and see where we're at. Let's see. I saw a lot of questions go by about good pozole, and I saw that a couple of you recommended Senaduría Celia, and of course Celia is absolutely the place to go to. Celia is in Colonia Emiliano Zapata, and that is a wonderful, wonderful place. And yeah, here's another equivalent. Say oy vey smiar. Yeah, that you can definitely say oy vey when you're saying hiya. Sherry is mentioning El Campanario, which is absolutely wonderful. El Campanario is directly across from the Church of Guadalupe. They have great pozole, and they also have amazing tamales. It is one of the traditional Mexican restaurants that you absolutely have to try in town. The traditional ones. I love it because my dear friend Mayra, who is as Mexican as they get, says guacala. And of course, the word guacala we explored the other day when I made my intelligent speaker fart. And my intelligent speaker, she's dainty because she farts and then she says guacala. And guacala is a word that you use when you see something that is really yucky or disgusting. So that is a great expression. Thank you for that, Miss Mayra. Let's see. Oh, Rachel's not a chef; she's a chef. Well, in all defense, in her defense, when I lived in Boston, and I lived in Boston for almost 2 decades, and whenever I wanted to make Mexican food for myself or for my friends, you have to go with whatever ingredients you can find. But I mean, if you're going to go on television, you at least have the responsibility of saying, dude, this is not the authentic thing. This is what we were able to come up with given the ingredients that we have. I think there's a lot of clarity there. And of course, oh my God, Carmen Porras is with us. So for Carmen to go, ay, 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 when she looks at that recipe of, I keep saying prescription because in Spanish, the word recipe is the same thing for a cooking recipe, but it's also the same thing that you get from your doctor. So it's just my Sunday brain. ¿Qué te parece, Carmen? What do you think of that pozole? And I love that Mexican mother just going absolutely crazy. And of course, I'll leave you the bookmark with the entire video. I didn't want to show the whole video because, as you know, we don't want to get YouTube on our bad side. I actually got YouTube on my bad side when we decided to share, when we were talking about that pornographic film that was made here in Puerto Vallarta. And I shared a link from Pornhub, and YouTube got on my case and said, Paco, you cannot be sharing porn websites here, and I never will do it again. There you go. Kelly is asking, what did I miss? Tu estás pendejo? That's what you missed. A wonderful new phrase that we're learning. Pendejo meant asshole. Well, again, the original definition of pendejo, again, is pubic hair. And then it became asshole. And now it's commonly used as to refer to a situation or a person that is stupid or a bad idea, for example. Kathleen reacts to the crying lady from the soap opera. Well, yeah, she was really unhappy against her husband, who was like threatening to leave her or something. Tony asks, no seas pendejo. That is a similar way to do it. You know, you can also say, don't be pendejo. Equally useful and equally loving or deadly, depending on how you enunciate it. Let's see what else. Uh-oh, I'm not even going to acknowledge that because I saw a Trump remark, and we don't get political here, not even on a Sunday. Although it's tempting. No, we're not going to go there. We're not going to get political. Good thing I can't get kicked out of class. Absolutely. Let's see, what else do we have? If we say task and I say toy, oh, absolutely, and that refers to when you say it about yourself. Like, for example, when I went looking for um, my coffee jar, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And then I looked inside my refrigerator, and I found that my coffee pot was in the refrigerator. I had one of those moments in which I could have easily said to myself, Paco, "Das pendejo," you know, like speaking to yourself. But toy, when you say toy pendejo, or you say, oh, actually, you know what? You use toy a lot when a friend of you asks, you know, so how are you feeling right now? And you give him a look, and you say, well, toy pedo, which means that you're drunk. Toy pedo is absolutely wonderful. That's a great instance in which you might use toy, referring to yourself. Let's see, nicknames. Somebody calls me Chencha. Does that have a meaning? Not sure if it's good or bad. Well, Julie, Chencha. Oh dear. Well, I can tell you what I think chencha means, but I don't know that that has anything to do with you. But chencha is kind of like hefty, girthy, shall we say. But I'm not necessarily sure that that is why you're being called chencha. So you may want to research that before I tell you whether it is good or bad. Will there ever be a weekly Paco hosted small group dine out? Wow, I had never thought about that. I have actually remained on standby with any ideas of public gatherings because I'm kind of measuring the level of comfort that we all have in terms of being out and about. There were some folks at some point that had suggested we have a meet and greet, and I think that's a fabulous idea. But I am kind of waiting for everybody to tell me, are you ready to have a meet and greet? So maybe sometime during this week, we have a higher number of people showing up during the week. We can do a poll to see how comfortable people are for getting together and hanging out and so forth and so on. And we can definitely look into that. Thank you very much for suggesting it, Doug. I love meeting people because it helps me understand what the community is into and what the community wants. A deadly insult in Minnesota is to say that's different. See, I would have never known that. I would have never known that, and I would hate to get myself into trouble by being in Minnesota and all of a sudden saying that's different. I would love to see an example of that, then, just out of curiosity, like what would be a situation in which somebody would reply that's different and it would become an insult. I love Carmen because Carmen, you're right. Es una cochinada. It's a pendejada. That's what it is. I love it. I love it. Let's see. How do I call someone an asshole? That's my favorite insult. Well, Suzanne, I can tell you that you can call someone an asshole by saying eres un pendejo, but again, you want to be careful about when we use these expressions and how. The fact that we can joke about them does not necessarily mean that anyone should go out and feel empowered to use these words in Mexico, particularly if you are a foreigner and particularly if you are a woman, because it is just being prudent. We can have fun with these expressions here, but again, I would not venture to start using them left and right because you might actually either hurt somebody's feelings or somebody might react aggressively towards you for using it. Way back when we were talking about the word puto, which means faggot or queer or gay, it can be very offensive or very friendly depending on who says it to whom. It's kind of like the N word. And one of the things that happened is somebody here in the community started saying puto this and puto that and puto the other. And finally I said, well, you're wasting it. Don't just use it because you think it's going to make you sound or feel interesting. So you want to be very careful with words like that, Suzanne. Now, if you wanted to call somebody an asshole to his face, oh dear, let me think about that. But among your friends, if you want to talk about someone and not say it to his or her face, you can certainly use the word pendejo. But again, híjole, it can be a hurtful word, and please remember that over anything else, we are sharing these words not to encourage you to be hateful or violent or hurtful at other people. I want to make sure that I make that very, very clear. These are just expressions that you may want to know about. Let's see. Bing, garingam, boom, 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 boom. And Logan continues to comment on Rachael Ray. Yeah, a lot of canned ingredients. Well, sometimes that stuff is not easy to find in the United States. You don't say to soy pendejo. No, you don't say that. You say estoy. It's estoy pendejo. You might say soy un pendejo if you're thinking to yourself, I made a mistake. You might say, ay, soy un pendejo. I left the keys in the house. Or ay, soy un pendejo. I forgot to pay my taxes this month. Or things like that. If you say I'm an idiot, kind of thing. Julia is now curious because she's not chencha. So, I will look for the word on Google to see if there's a better definition for chencha. Culero. Well, but culero could be an asshole, yes, Felix, but something culero can also be something really cool for some people to say, wow, he's a really culero DJ. That means that he's a really good DJ. So culero is an interesting, tricky word that can mean something really wonderful. Oh my God. Oh, that is a big combination. Oh my God, Chef, that's really advanced. I don't even know how to begin to explain that or break it down. Let us not unpack that because I think we need to go through a few trainings before we get into so many words at the same time. I love it. Let's see, what else do you have? Oh, you try somebody's food at a potluck and then they ask what you think of it and you say, oh, well, that's different. It's it's kind of like, when you say to a performer, so what did you think of my show? And you say, well, it was very interesting. Among people that do perform, calling a performance interesting is about the most awkward / passive aggressive way to say, well, not so good. So I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's see. In the Northeast, calling someone an asshole can be a compliment. It depends on your tone. See, the tone, the delivery has everything to do with it. Are any funny acronyms in Spanish? I use Nonya a lot. Nonya business. We have phrases like that. We have, for example, if somebody asks me, where did you buy your beautiful cock t-shirt? And I can answer, I bought it at the store of Ketty. Let me put this on the screen so that you can see what I mean by these. And I'm going to put two things. No, not that. Ketty is one thing that I want to show you. If somebody asks me where I bought my t-shirt, I say I bought it at Ketty store, And then if somebody asks me where is it or what is Ketty, that is actually short for ¿Qué te importa? Oops, sorry, I forgot to put an A on that. Hold on. ¿Qué te importa? Which essentially means it's none of your business. So if you say to somebody, if somebody asks you a question for which the answer is it's none of your business, you can say, ¿Qué ti? And the person will say, what do you mean, ¿Qué ti? And you can answer, ¿Qué te importa? So it's that we would do when we were talking about little acronyms or shortened phrases and so forth and so on. I know you're Mexican, querido, but I mean, starting to talk about cacotas and all that stuff, that might be a little esoteric. Let us take one expression per episode. I love it. I love it. ADM equals, oh my God. I like that too. Michael, I have a complaint to make. Because yesterday I had lunch at one of your restaurants and it was wonderful. But when I got there, the hostess said, you can sit wherever you like. And I looked at the really cute waiter and I tried to sit on him and I was not allowed to do it. So I want to tell you that I don't know what to say. I really wanted to sit on that waiter. Just kidding. Just kidding. Anyhow, what else do we have? We are pretty much done with what I had to share with you. Does anybody have any questions about anything that we can answer? Vaccines, COVID, politics, Democrats, Republicans. No, we're not going to go there. Remember, we're not going to go there. Any questions going wise? Oh, Cesar says that if you say that a girl, that she walks like a chencha in her high heels, it's like saying you look like a servant who's never worn shoes before. Ouch! Ouch! Well, I certainly hope that is not the case in this particular situation. Let's see, what else do we have? How dare they not allow the waiter? Well, he was busy. He was actually busy, Paul. So I can certainly appreciate that, the waiter had to also go let other patrons sit on him. So it was not meant to happen, but he was very happy to take good care of us and we took good care of him. Actually, it was my first venture out to Poblanos since they redid their whole menu and it was deliciously wonderful. And oh my God, they have this mango margarita that was absolutely superb. And yes, the waiters are very nice to look at, I must say. How is híjole hurtful? Híjole is not hurtful. How do I explain híjole? Oh my God, how can I explain híjole? Híjole can have so many permutations. Linda, let me write híjole down and we'll dive into híjole in the future because it can mean a lot of things and it also has a lot to do with the delivery. But I'm taking notes and I will bring back híjole. And I'm going to bring back chencha because I see there's all kinds of theories about chencha. And Julie says, I don't walk well in heels. I promise, Julie, we will rescue you from this uncertainty. We will look for the proper meaning so that you don't feel misplaced or miscast or out of place or your self-esteem doesn't hurt even the slightest bit. We don't want that. Can I paste the link to the Rachael Ray and Mexican Mother clip, says Daniel House. Well, Daniel, you must be new, and I'm happy to explain. Of course, we can paste the link. What we usually do here at Coffee and Headlines is everything that we talk about, I put together in the show notes. Well, my assistant Luna puts together the show notes. So after the show is over, we put everything on the website. We put everything on Facebook so that you can go back and enjoy these links and these videos and these things that we share at your leisure. And yes, híjole is the same as oh my God, but híjole can also be it can also be how dare you. It can also be how dare you. And if you say it like really hatingly, like híjole, like when somebody does something horrible, it's like how could you fucking dare to do something like that? So it can be, if there's a lot of drama, if there's background dramatic music, you can certainly say something like that. Let me see if I can improvise. Do I have my scary sound here? Híjole. See? Híjole. And you have like horrible music behind you, then it works. Anyhow, this is Coffee and Headline Sunday Funday. Oh my God, you have so many questions. So clearly we need to continue to shock your Spanish teachers because you have all these questions about colorful metaphors in Spanish. So this will continue to be a big part of Sunday Funday. I had an important conversation with our dear Logan yesterday. And yes, we are going to have a, what did we say we called it, Logan? Oh, brownie and headlines. We're going to have Sunday Funday brownie and headlines, or 420 and headlines. And we already know exactly what we're going to talk about, and it's going to be really, really funny. Or at least I hope it's going to be funny. But between then and now, we are wrapping today because I have to run over to Hotel Mercurio to take some photographs of their very new, very successful Sunday and Saturday drag brunch, in which the lady of the house, Eileen, to the left, is actually not even present. She sent her bestie, Leona Helmsley, to take care of the proceedings. So I need to go get an autograph from Leona and see what she looks like actually up close. And I will come back sometime tomorrow morning at 10:30 as usual. I don't know exactly what kind of announcements we're going to get today from our governor as far as COVID information is concerned. But as you know, we try to bring you as much update about COVID as we can on Mondays, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Between now and then, I hope you have fun practicing all these colorful metaphors we discussed today. Feel free to stay in touch with me. Feel free to send me questions, comments, and suggestions, and we will get together very soon. Between now and then, stay happy, stay smiling, and stay kind. And before I leave you, let us part with our lovely other main correspondent that we have here at Coffee and Headlines. Bye-bye.